Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about another intervention and interference we are seeing in of Turkey, where it has begun to support indirectly and directly many of the groups in the Bangladesh, and one of the groups that is believed to be backed by Turkey has shown a map that it referred as a map of Greater Bangladesh that encompasses large part of India as such, and thus it has resulted into a huge controversy. So let us try to understand that what this entire issue is all about. What is the interest of Turkey in the regions around India, whether it is Pakistan, Bangladesh or Maldives, and how this entire approach fits into a great game that the Erdogan, the current president of Turkey, seems to be playing at a global scale. Now, a Turkish NGO backed Islamist group, we have discussed before many times in our videos that after the coming up of Muhammad Yunus following the ouster of Sheikh Hasina's government, we have seen a rising influence of Islamist group in the overall government structure and the governance of Bangladesh. And one such group in Dhaka, that is referred as Sultanate-e-Bangla, it has displayed a maps of what we refer as Greater Bangladesh that comprise several Indian states of eastern as well as northeastern regions. So basically, this report was first published in the Economic Times, and the Sultanate-e-Bangla allegedly has put out the controversial map of so-called Greater Bangladesh. Now, what part of the other country and the regions that this Greater Bangladesh encompasses and shows? So basically, it encompasses the Arakan state of Myanmar. To the south of Bangladesh, if you look at here, this is the area where you have the Rakhine state or Arakan state, that is part of the coastal regions of Myanmar as such. It even includes Bihar and West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha and the entire northeastern region as part of Greater Bangladesh. So this is what has resulted into huge uproar among the Indian, this what you can call as the politics or what you can call as the Indian media as such. Now talk about here, the Chinese factor can also not be understated, because China was urged by the Muhammad Yunus when he went to visit China, and during his visit he has signed overall 9 agreements with the Beijing, and it is during those time he has invited China to extend its economic influence in the Bangladesh. And also Muhammad Yunus during one of his speeches mentioned that India's northeastern states are being landlocked and that could prove to be an opportunity. Also he has made a controversial remark that the 7 states of India, as there are 7 states in the northeastern region, they are also referred as 7 sisters. They are landlocked region of India, they have no way to reach out to the ocean, and it is in this context he has mentioned that Bangladesh is only sole guardian of the ocean, is basically referring to the Bay of Bengal of the Indian Ocean region as such. So this has also created what you can call as a souring of relationship between India and Bangladesh that already was facing and witnessing a downward trajectory since last year August as such. Now if we try to understand about Turkey, we have in the recent times, especially after the launch of Operation Sindoor and the counter retaliatory strike by the Pakistani military across India, the relation between India and Turkey also has worsened as such, because it is believed that Turkey has firmly supported Pakistan not only diplomatically but also by sending and providing military assistance as such. For example, the large scale drone attacks that we have seen that was sent by the Pakistani military across India's border, most of these drones were largely made by Turkish company such as Songa drone that was made by a Turkish defense company called as Aziz Guard, and similarly you have Bikar EHA-3 kamikaze drone. Kamikaze drones are basically a type of suicide drone whose major objective is to crash and then cause damage to the infrastructure or the site where it crashes as such. So there we are seeing the massive backing by the Turkey to the Pakistan as such. Not only that, we also have seen that Turkey has clarified its stance, that is stand with Pakistan as far as the issue of Kashmir is concerned. So all this has created a kind of showering of relationship, and due to this we have seen a large scale trend of boycott Turkey been trending in India for past few weeks, where the many of the what you can call as tourist sites and the tour websites, they have stop providing any kind of assistance and any kind of promoting any kind of tour to Turkey, and Azerbaijan also is coming in the same kind of boycott trend. Apart from that, also we have seen that Celebi, a company that was largely responsible for what you can call as the ground movement or this ground support in the airports as such as Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, ties has been cut up from that company as well, plus many other minor steps have been taken at the government level also. Plus we have seen a decline in import from Turkey largely for the marbles as well as apples as such. So this is how we can see that the downward trajectory of ties is being witnessed in the Turkey-India relationship. However, not only Turkey is trying to strengthen its partnership with Pakistan, it also is now turning its gaze toward Bangladesh as such. And we talk about the Turkey-Bangladesh ties, we can see a continuous increase in its influence after the ouster of Sheikh Hasina regime, which is mirroring its relations with Pakistan. And Turkey has reportedly stepped up its not only again engagement on the diplomatic front, economic front, but also it is providing military assistance to Bangladesh at the same line or on the same line as Pakistan, because Turkey is reportedly also has reportedly also supplied to the Bangladesh armed forces large number of drones as per the recent report as such. So this is how we can understand that the increase and enhancement in the Turkey-Bangladesh ties and this current step that has been taken by the Turkey-backed Islamist group can be considered as one of the element of that. Now, Turkish NGOs that are operating in large number in the Bangladesh, they also are aligned with the country's ruling AKP. That means AKP is a party that is led by Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and they also have grown increasingly active in Bangladesh, and there is a report of large-scale funding being provided by the Turkish government to run these NGOs, and these funds from the NGOs are further being diverted to increase or enhance the activities and prop up various Islamist groups that were lying dormant in the last several decades, at least as long as Sheikh Hasina was in Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Pakistan has allegedly played a role in bringing the two countries closer since August last year, because after the ouster of Sheikh Hasina regime, Mohammad Yunus has tried to revive the relationship of Bangladesh with Pakistan. And again, we have seen the meeting between the military generals of the Pakistan and Bangladesh, as well as even the ISI have made several rounds to Bangladesh. They have visited the military facilities of the country as such. So there we are seeing a warming of relationship where we cannot exclude the possibility of Pakistan and Bangladesh forming a military alliance in the future as such. That will have huge ramifications on the internal security of India also. The extent of Muslim Brotherhood's influence on the Bangladesh Islamist as well as the role of Turkish NGOs must be closely monitored, and this is very important because any significant change and any further influence of the Islamist element on the Bangladeshi politics can be a very dangerous for the security of India also. Now we try to understand that why Turkey, which is far away from the South Asia and Southeast Asia region, have begun to show a certain degree of what you can call as interest in the Indian Ocean region. So this we can consider by understanding that the Erdogan currently is trying to imitate what we can call as a policy, which is to create an alternative architecture of cooperation with non-Gulf Muslim states. Because talk about the Gulf region, if you try to look at the map, here you have the Saudi Arabia, Egypt, you have UAE, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait. So a lot of these countries are there in the Gulf region. And largely if we talk about the leadership of the Gulf countries, the Saudi Arabia and UAE is mainly two countries that seem to be a voice of the countries, the Muslim world in this region as such. So Turkey is trying to gain and garner support of countries, the Muslim countries with what you can call as the country with highest number of Muslim population, such as Pakistan. You talk about in south, further south you have the Myanmar, then for not Myanmar, this Malaysia, then further south you have Indonesia. So Turkey is trying to build an alliance of non-Gulf Muslim state, which it want to portray itself as a leader of the Islamic world as such. So this is how we can understand that it is also a part of great game where Turkey is propping up a front against the Saudi Arabia and UAE led coalition as such. Now we talk about the India-Bangladesh ties. We have discussed that after the ouster of Sheikh Hasina regime, the government of Bangladesh, the interim government we can say, they completely failed to contain attacks on minorities, especially Hindu community. We have seen large scale attacks on the infrastructure, we have large scale attacks on the temples being carried out, and even many Hindu saints have been put in the jail as such. So this has created a big problem in the, or what you can call as a biggest spanner in the overall machines of India-Bangladesh ties as such. Now apart from that also the what you can call as the appeasement policy of Mohammad Yunus, that is being reflected both with reference to Pakistan as well as China, plus the controversial remark he has made about the northeastern states of India, and even few days back when India has launched Operation Sindoor against Pakistan, one of the members of the Muhammad Yunus political party has stated that if India attacks Pakistan, Bangladesh should attack India. So all these kind of, both we can say the overreach that we are seeing by the Bangladeshi political party is not only in the political sphere but also in the economic and military sphere is seen to be a threat by India, and that is why Bangladesh also is where India has begun to retaliate, and the recent moves that is taken by the government of India was to not allow Bangladeshi companies to use transshipment facilities in India to export its goods to certain third countries such as Europe, USA or any other country as such, and largely it is the ready-made garments, the cotton textile which make up the large portion of Bangladesh export as such. Now Bangladesh also is the big competitor of India in the textile sector, and the India-Bangladesh trade stand today at around $13 billion in the year 2023-2024 as such. Now, if we talk about in the strategic calculus, we have to understand that our former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee has rightly said that you can change your friends and enemies, but you cannot change your neighbors, and this seems to be true, especially in the context of India where it seems to be surrounded by enemies from all the sides. For example, in the west you have Pakistan, then further in the east you have the Bangladesh. Now till 2024, by till Sheikh Hasina was Prime Minister of Bangladesh, India and Bangladesh has enjoyed a kind of good relationship, but after her ouster, Bangladesh is taking more, we can say, the side of Pakistan, and then we know that further to the north we have a country that is China, which claims Arunachal Pradesh to be its own territory as such, plus we have boundary dispute along the Ladakh region as well. So all this is what we have to take into calculus when we draw, design and recalibrate our foreign policy, deal with both threat, challenges as well as opportunities across the world, and more specifically around the India's neighborhood as such. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you got the idea behind how Turkey figures out in the overall regional game between India, Pakistan and Bangladesh what is Turkish interest and how India should be and why India should be concerned about any further influence of Turkish backed groups in the Bangladesh as such. So if you like the video, please hit like button, share it with your aspirants, and subscribe to the channel for more such content. Thank you very much.